I knew something was off the moment my wife stopped kissing me with her eyes open. You know what I mean? When someone actually sees you. That had been gone for months. These days she'd peck me on the cheek like it was a chore. Her smile was fake. Her laugh had this weird delay, like it had to buffer first. She was always at work or on retreats or unwinding with coworkers. Half the time, I didn't even hear her come in. I'd wake up, she'd already be gone. No scent of perfume, no half-empty coffee cup. Just cold air and silence. My name's Rick. I'm 42. I live in Eugene, Oregon. I fix cars for a living, own a little repair shop out on Highway 99. Nothing fancy, but I pay the bills and keep things running. I never used to doubt her. I'm not some paranoid nut job. But things started stacking up. The late nights, the locked phone, the girls-only weekends that didn't check out. Then one night, she messed up. She left her old tablet charging on the kitchen counter. Screen lit up with a ding. I wasn't snooping, not at first. I was grabbing a beer. But I saw the name Dylan pop up in the notification. The message preview said, "Missed last night already. That dress was unfair." I froze. Just stood there, bottle still in hand. My heart didn't pound. It flatlined. Quick note: before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? Curiosity beat out caution. I picked up the tablet. No passcode. Dumb move. She'd made a hidden Facebook account. Different name, same profile pic, cropped just enough. I scrolled. My hands shook, but I kept going. Dozens of messages, photos, hotel selfies. Laughing with this guy like a giddy teenager. He looked like some finance bro douchebag. Shiny teeth, tight shirts, smug face. They even had pet names. My firecracker. My alpha. I sat there staring at the screen like I was watching a car crash in slow motion. Couldn't look away. When she came home, I didn't waste a second. I met her at the door. "You seeing someone?" She blinked once, then that smirk crawled across her face like she'd been waiting for me to ask. "You're boring now, Rick," she said. "I need more." No apology, no guilt. Just those cold words, like I was a toy that stopped being fun. I laughed, bitter and sharp. "So that's it? That easy?" She shrugged. "I was planning to divorce you anyway." Then she walked right past me like I didn't exist. She walked straight to the bedroom, heels clicking like it was just another Tuesday. I followed her in, half in shock, half running on autopilot. Her suitcase was already zipped up by the closet, like she knew I'd find out, like she wanted me to. "You already packed?" I asked. She didn't even look at me, just started sliding her makeup bag into the side pocket. "I'm staying at Dylan's until the divorce is finalized." I stared at her. "That easy for you, huh?" She finally turned around, arms crossed, leaning against the dresser like she was tired of explaining herself. "He's everything you're not, Rick. Successful, passionate, good-looking." That one cut deeper than I expected. I felt it in my chest like a sudden drop in air pressure. "I've been holding this house together," I said. "Paying bills, covering your parents' meds while you're out, finding yourself. I've been here." She rolled her eyes. "You're just a mechanic." I took a step back. "Wow." "I've outgrown you," she said, cold as ice. She walked past me again, this time carrying the suitcase, set it by the door, then reached into her tote bag and pulled out a thin black file, tossed it onto the kitchen table like it was a takeout menu. "You remember this?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. "That's the prenup you signed, back when I was broke and you were still useful." She cracked a smile. "We'll see who walks out of this with what." She grabbed her keys, gave me one last glance like she expected me to beg. I didn't move. She walked out and shut the door like she owned the place. I stood there for a minute, then another. Eventually I sat down at the table and opened the file, pages and pages of legal crap. But I remembered something, a conversation we had years ago, when she was first launching her company. She was the one who insisted on the prenup, said she needed financial clarity. I was in love. I didn't argue. Flipping through, I found it. Clause 14, third paragraph. If either party engages in an extramarital relationship while still legally married, the non-offending party is entitled to 50% ownership of any business assets gained during the course of the marriage. I read it twice to make sure. Then I laughed, loud and long. I laughed until I had to wipe my eyes. She put that clause in to protect herself. Figured I'd be the one to screw up. She never thought I'd be the one cashing in. I didn't wait around, packed up my clothes, toolbox, and the coffee maker she never used, and moved into my brother's old place across town. Small, dusty, but it had a roof and no trace of her perfume. First night there, I slept like a rock. Next morning, I sent her a text. Took my boring face and left your fancy house. Enjoy. It didn't take long for her to bite back. Already got a lawyer, Lance Mayers. Look him up. You're screwed. I did. Pretty boy in a slick suit with a website full of buzzwords. Aggressive strategist. Client-centered. Looked like the kind of guy who charged $500 just to breathe in your direction. I didn't reply. Just called his office, used a different last name, and booked a consultation. Said I needed divorce advice. Told them I preferred to meet in person, old school. They gave me a Thursday slot at some diner near downtown. He showed up in a gray sport coat and no tie, phone in one hand, ego in the other. Didn't even look at me when he slid into the booth. You're Alan Cross? Nope, I said, grinning. Name's Rick. He blinked. Rick? I leaned back and watched it land. You're that Rick? That's right. He sank into the seat like the air got heavier. His hand dropped from the phone. He looked around like someone might be filming him. I slid the envelope across the table. Your client forgot to tell you she's breaking a clause in a legally binding prenup. He didn't touch it at first, just stared at the folder like it was radioactive. Then he slowly opened it. First page, printout of the prenup, clause 14, highlighted in yellow. Next few pages, screenshots of the texts between her and Dylan, photos of them at that lake cabin in Bend, receipts from our joint card she'd used for gas, hotels, meals, all time-stamped, all while we were still married. His lips pressed into a line. You've already had these verified? I work with engines, not Photoshop. Everything in there is real. He flipped another page, then shut the folder. This changes things. Sure does. She didn't disclose any of this. She also told me you were going to bury me in court. You still plan to try? He didn't answer, just exhaled and rubbed his eyes like he had a headache coming. I've got to reassess her case, he muttered. I stood up, tossed a 5 on the table for my untouched coffee. Do that, but if I were you, I'd run. She's got a habit of stepping on the people who help her. I left him sitting there with that folder like it was a live grenade. A few days later, my phone lit up while I was elbow deep in a busted Ford transmission. Unknown number. I wiped my hands, answered anyway. What the hell did you say to Lance? Her voice was sharp enough to slice concrete. Good morning to you too, I said, walking outside the bay doors. Don't play dumb, Rick. He dropped me. No warning. Said he can't represent me in good faith. What the hell did you do? I leaned against the wall, sun hitting my face. Just told him the truth. The truth? She snapped. You're manipulating the system. Nope. You wrote the prenup, I said. You added the cheating clause. I just read it. She went quiet for half a second. I pictured her pacing, probably in Dylan's condo, if she was still welcome there. You always twist things, she hissed. You're not going to win. I don't have to twist anything. You did the twisting. I'm just holding up the mirror, she exploded. You want to ruin me? Is that it? Blow up everything I built? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I'd already heard the whispers. My buddy Mason's wife worked in her building, said people were talking. Word had gotten around that she was being sued over her own prenup. Some folks said Dylan started pulling back too, once he caught wind of it. Guess gold diggers don't like sharing profits. You're being vindictive, she said, tone dipping into fake sadness. After everything we had, I laughed into the receiver. We had a marriage. You lit it on fire. We can fix this, she said quickly. We were happy once. Don't act like none of it meant anything. You think this is about feelings? I said. No, this is about consequences. I messed up, okay? But we can talk. Try again. You're not sorry, I said. You're cornered. There was a long silence. Then she tried one last jab. You really think you deserve half of my company? You were broke when you started that company. I was paying the mortgage while you were networking. Every win you had, I was behind you. You made the contract. Now I'm collecting. She hung up without another word. I stared at the screen for a second, then walked back into the garage, grease on my hands, sweat on my back, and a grin I couldn't hide. The next week, she showed up at my shop. Didn't call ahead, didn't even park right. just swung her Lexus halfway into the employee spot and stormed through the open bay like she still owned me. "Rick," she said, walking fast toward me in heels way too clean for a garage. I didn't even look up from the brake caliper I was fixing. "You can't be here," I said. "This is a workplace. We need to talk. Speak to my lawyer." She folded her arms, lowering her voice. "Privately. I don't do private with people who lie for sport." Her mouth opened, then shut. I watched her hesitate, rare for her. After a second, she turned around and walked out without another word. Then, about 10 days in, she cracked. It was a Saturday morning. I was home drinking coffee in my boxers when the doorbell rang. Looked through the peephole. There she was, no makeup, puffy eyes, shoulders hunched like she weighed 30 pounds more than she did yesterday. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. She didn't wait. "Please don't take half," she said, her voice shaking. "You'll ruin me, Rick. You ruined yourself." Tears streamed down her face as she stepped inside without permission. I didn't stop her. She stood in the middle of the living room like she didn't know where to put her hands. "I was stupid," she whispered. "Dylan's gone. He said he's not interested in being part of some prenup mess." "Smart guy," I muttered. She sniffed. "I built that company from nothing. It's my whole life. And I'm just here to collect. I was wrong, okay? I panicked. I chased something new and flashy, and now I'm paying for it. Good summary." Then she dropped it, the last Hail Mary. "Can we just try again?" she asked. "A fresh start. No lawyers, no revenge. Just us." I damn near spit my coffee across the room. "You think I'm stupid?" Her lip quivered. She looked around, maybe expecting a picture of us somewhere, or some memory to help her case. But there was nothing. I'd stripped this place clean of her months ago. "I miss you," she whispered. "No, you miss the version of me that tolerated your crap. That guy's gone." I opened the front door and held it wide. She stood there for a second, blinking like maybe I'd changed my mind. "Goodbye, Alyssa." She walked out without another word. I walked out of that courthouse with half her shares in the company she once said I was too small to be part of. A week later, I emailed her lawyer with a polite offer. She can buy me out, full market value, plus 10% for the insult. Got no reply. Didn't need one. I already knew she couldn't afford it. Word on the street was Dylan had vanished. No texts, no calls, no offers of support. Just ghosted. Guess when the money looked uncertain, so did his loyalty. Meanwhile, her name started slipping down the company's press releases. Her board got nervous. Investors don't like scandal, and cheating on your husband and violating a contract in the same breath? Not a great look. They asked her to step down as CEO. Temporarily, but we both knew what that meant. She sold her downtown loft to cover some debts, moved into a 2-bedroom condo near the airport. No doorman, no valet. Just a cracked parking lot and a community pool with faded signs. She never reached out again. Pride, I guess, or maybe shame. Either way, silence worked fine for me. I hired a management firm to oversee my shares. No interest in board meetings or quarterly projections. I just wanted the checks, and they came. Every month, like clockwork. I paid off my credit cards, got the transmission rebuilt on the shop's tow truck, bought myself a brand new Ram, fully loaded, cherry red. Took my nephew fishing and didn't check my phone once. And the house? I finally fixed the gutter that had been sagging for 2 years. Power washed the siding, put in a new porch light. Everything she used to complain about. That's so low priority, Rick. I did on my time, my way. Started dating again, nothing serious, drinks, dinners, a few laughs. No drama, no secrets. No pretending to be someone else just to keep up. Life got quiet, peaceful, and profitable. I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't feel like gloating or rubbing anything in. Honestly, I barely thought about her. But every now and then, I'd hear someone mention her company. A press release, a stumble in stock. And I'd smile, just a little. I was grabbing coffee at this spot near the shop, place I'd been going to every Friday morning since things settled. Same order, same barista, same corner table. That's when I saw her, Alyssa. She was sitting alone by the window, hands wrapped around a paper cup, like she was trying to squeeze heat out of it. Hair tied back, makeup smudged, blazer wrinkled like she'd slept in it. She looked tired, not sick, not starving, just worn down. The fire in her eyes, the one that used to burn through me like acid, was gone. She noticed me before I could duck out, gave this small, surprised smile like we were old classmates bumping into each other at a high school reunion. "Rick," she said. "Wow." "Hey," I nodded. We stood there awkward for a second. I almost walked away, but she kept talking. "How's life?" I smiled. "Peaceful." She looked down and gave this quiet little laugh, the kind people do when they're swallowing regret. Then she glanced back up. "Do you ever think about what we had?" "Sure," I said. "And I'm glad it's over. No hesitation, no bitterness, just the truth." She didn't argue, just nodded slowly like she already knew the answer before she asked. "You look good, Rick." I looked her right in the eye. "Yeah, I sleep fine now." She flinched a little, just a twitch, but didn't say anything. Just stared at her cup like it might refill itself. I didn't drag it out, no reason to. I picked up my coffee and turned toward the door. As I stepped outside, the cold air hit me, and I breathed deep. It felt like stepping out of a cave. My shoulders felt lighter, like I'd been carrying around a weight I didn't even realize was still there. She had everything once: the money, the company, the power, me, and she threw it away.